Okay, so dear able professors, we're able to extensively discuss concepts under public sector. The major highlights are you should know what a public sector is, and then as well the public sector accounting. You should be able to distinguish between a public sector and a private sector, as well as public sector accounting and private sector accounting. These have been examined before, so pay attention to them. Then you should also be able to outline the various sources of revenue for the central government as well as the local government, right? And then you should be able to also appreciate the expenditure of the government, specifically those that are of capital nature and those that are of recurrent nature. Okay. I did give you a hint that in terms of the practicals, mainly you are asked to prepare some statements, some accounts, as well as the trial balance and the balance sheet. I think I have to go back to that checklist so we can make some sense out of what we are going to do today. Okay, so the trial balance, you can be asked to prepare the trial balance, and it's the same for how we have been preparing trial balance. You put items that have debit balances under the debit column and items that have credit balances under the credit column. So the procedure or the principle is the same. Then 2, income and expenditure account. So here is going to focus on all the income the government is getting matched against the expenditure. So it's more or less like the profit and loss account where you match your total income with your total expenses. So any difference may be a profit or a loss, but here we're going to refer to the profit as a surplus. Surplus, please note that. And then the loss will be a deficit. Okay. You can as well be asked to prepare receipt and payment account, which act as the cash book of the government. So the receipts will be debited and all the payment will be credited. Okay. As you know, the popular aspect of the double entry, debit the receiver, credit the giver. So debit receipt, credit payment. It makes sense in that regard. And then finally, you could be asked to prepare a statement of capital expenditure and statement of revenue or recurrent expenditure. So if you appreciate this, let's pick the first question or illustration. And most of these illustrations are past questions. So you can appreciate that it's an examinable topic. Very easy at that. Okay, so I would employ one of you to read it for me. Read the question for us quickly. Then we dive into solving it. Who can do that for me? Okay, I think on the list, the last person on the list here, Prof. Senam, please read the question for us.
Okay. So I should like read the instruction and then the items.
Sure, as quickly as possible if you can.
Okay. The following were extracted from the books of One Leg District Assembly as at 31st March 2009. And then the item.
Okay.
Accumulated fund 1st of
April.
I think April 2008. Yes. 550,000.
Okay.
Then interest 4,000. Fixed deposit 90,000. Wages 750,000. Retention money, 3,000. Basic rate, 80,000. Market fees, 60,000. Sanitation grants, 290,000. Post office savings, 65,000. Cash in hand, 6,000. Reserve fund, I think 250,000. Hawker's license, 355,000. Unspent loan, 200,000. TUC deposit, 15,000. Lorry park fees, 121,000. Specific grant, 170,000.
Okay.
I think this the next page. Should I read the one? Okay.
Yes, it continues from here.
Property rate. Property rate, 1,250,000. Salaries, 270,000. Vehicle advances, 400,000. Work materials, 1,400,000. Cash at bank, 330,000. Office expenses, 29,500. You are required to prepare a trial balance for one leg district as at 31st March 2009. B. Revenue and expenditure accounts for the year ended 31st March 2009. And C. Balance sheet as at that date.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Senam. Okay, so I think that as she reads or as she read, you appreciated that we have been given a list of balances on various items comprising assets, liabilities, and fund. Now, we are not going to refer to that as capital for the government. We'll refer to it as fund, right? Accumulated fund and all the other funds you can think about. Okay, great. So it is for us to appreciate the nature of these items as to whether they are asset, liabilities, expenses, revenue to the government. Okay. So focusing on the requirement, we are supposed to prepare the trial balance. So you know how to prepare your trial balance. You put the title there. You have your columns for the name of the items, the debit column and the credit column, right? Great. So let's begin with the trial balance. And as you see on my screen here on the right, I have in the books of One Leg District Assembly. And this is a district assembly, for that matter, forms part of the local government. So this is not a central government, it's the local government, like your district where you come from. I'm from the Aguna West or Aguna East district. Yeah. I'm sure some of you are from, Accra Metropolitan Assembly and all that. Great. So I have my title of the trial balance. So trial balance as at 31st March 2009. That is the ending date. Okay. So what we actually have to do is to pick the items one by one, determine whether they should be put at the debit side or the credit side. So my dear professors, we have some specific tasks to go through together. So let's pick the first item, which is the accumulated fund. Accumulated fund. I'm seeing something in the chat. Let me read that. So please, I'll be back. Okay, Ella. And she says, I'm back. Okay. So accumulated fund, dear professors, any idea as to what it is and whether we should put it at the debit side or the credit side? Yes. Yeah, Professor, go ahead.
Okay, so please, I've learned accounting for non-profit making organizations.
Okay.
Under that, accumulated fund was the capital So I don't know if it is the same over here.
Okay, so that is very true. So the accumulated fund here is referring to the capital of the government, right? But in terms of its specific nature, when you see an accumulated fund, listen to the name, accumulated. It's like something that you have been collecting over time, right? Or piling up over time. So accumulated fund, right? Fund refers to, a sum of money, right? So accumulated fund means that all amounts collected by the government so far, okay? So more or less like the money belonging to the government. And if the government is overseeing this particular institution, for that matter, a district assembly, that forms the capital of the district assembly, right? So this is capital, and that is going to be under the credit column. So just put in accumulated fund. You put it under the credit side or credit column, 550,000. As simple as that. If you have a question on this, please feel free to tell me. Let's deal with it. Okay. So you should now note that accumulated fund is the capital of either the central government or the local government or any other agency, right? Okay. The second one is impressed. Impressed, please. Impressed. I want to impress on my professors to really apply knowledge acquired previously here. Impressed. So what is it and where should it be, debit or credit? Okay, let me call Prof. AC who joined us. So Prof. AC, impressed. I'm just let me take you to Petty Kai's book. You saw this impressed thing. So what is impressed? Yes.
For interest in the petty cash book.
Okay.
Like I think it's I don't know, a system that records all petty transactions.
Okay. So that is the system. If you remove the system and you just focus on the impressed, what is it actually? Okay, I think Prof. Ifya would assist Prof. AC in that regard.
Please, it is a small amount of money entrusted to an individual to make petty expenses. That's
Okay.
what I think.
Yes. So I think Prof. AC makes the point, but specifically, Ifya endorses it by giving us the specifics that imprest simply means cash, right? Set aside to take care of a particular expense. So that is imprest. So imprest is actually cash, right? So if imprest is synonymous to cash, then definitely it will be where at the debit side, because it's an asset. It is an amount of cash. Okay. Okay. The next item is fixed deposits. Fixed deposits. Professors, fixed deposits. Have you heard of this before? And what could it be? Fixed deposits. Okay. Let me call Prof. Yao on this one. Let's share our views, okay? Feel free. This is not an exam where you should be scared, oh, I'll get it wrong. No. Okay. This is a time for you to express your opinion. Yeah, Prof. Yeah, go ahead.
I think fixed deposits
It's an investment.
Okay, that is very true. It's a form of investment, right? Where you deposit a sum of money in an account, and that is going to accrue some interest over a period of time. So fixed deposit is an investment. And as we know, investments are assets, and all assets have debit balances. Okay, so fixed deposits. I think when you go to the bank to open an account, they will tell you either you do a savings account, current account, or fixed deposit account. Great. Wages, I think we don't have to waste time on this one. Wages, as we all know, is an expense. So all expenses have debit balances. So some of the items are very easy. The next one is retention money. I'm sure my professors are seeing this. So I'll do it myself. Now, when we say retention money, I don't know. The name should suggest the meaning. Retention money, retain something, right? So it is a term used in contract between a contractor and the government, where, for example, let me use an example so that makes sense. If the government employs a contractor to construct a road, and let's say the amount involved, as in the amount the government is going to pay the contractor, is, say, for instance, 200 million Ghana cedis. Okay. For the government to ensure that the contractor actually delivers on the task, the government is going to retain some of the agreed amount. So out of the 200 million Ghana cedis, the government can decide to withhold or retain, say, 50 million Ghana cedi, with the condition that until work is completed, that amount of money is not going to be paid to the contractor. Okay, Professor.
Right, please come in.
Okay, so what I'm saying is retention money. Let me use example for, let's say, between you and your friend. Your friend is supposed to do something for you. Let's say copy notes for you, and then you pay her. So that's the contract you have with your friend. Copy my note, I'll pay you 20 cedis. And then you decide that you would retain 5 cedis, or you would withhold 5 cedis, waiting for her to finish the copying of the note before you pay that 5 cedis to her. Okay, so that 5 cedis you withhold, that's the retention money. I don't know if it makes sense to you. So it's like you pay the 15 cedis for the person to start copying the note, but for the 5 cedis until she has finished copying the note, you are not going to pay. Yes, Professor, let me hear you again.
So please, would they ever ask us to maybe explain then we'll bring interest, retention money, and
Yeah,
those types?
yeah, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible.
Can you
Regardless,
please give us some notes on it?
Prof. Ella, and this one, as I'm explaining, I think you can, jot few things, or better still, you can watch the video and jot few things, right? But okay, so let me clear some doubt. If you check the past questions, the theories from public sector, I've not actually seen a case where they ask you to explain some terms from public sector, right? But well, anything can happen. Maybe during the time you say explain the foreign terms, then you have retention money, you have interest, you have fixed deposit. But I doubt. So for now, let's just pick the few things. So we said interest refers to an amount of money, right? Which is cash, and it's an asset. If it comes and you write this, I think you get the mark, right? It's an amount of money set aside to cater for a specific expense, right? And then fixed deposit is a form of investment that attracts interest. Right? As for wages, we know the remuneration to workers. Okay. Then we are now on the retention money. So as I said to you, the retention money is that amount withheld, okay, by the government from the contractor to ensure that the contractor completes the contract assigned to him or her. Okay. So it's a portion of payment withheld from a contractor or supplier until specific conditions are met. Until specific conditions are met. I'm sure you can write something down for yourself, Prof. Okay, so retention money with the explanation
Okay, sir. Thank you.
okay. With the explanation I've given, is it going to be an asset, a liability, an expense, or an income? Let's judge this one.
An expense.
An expense.
Because it's still not your money, because at the end of the day you are still going to give it to them.
So it is an, did you say an expense?
Yes.
Okay, so Prof. Ella says it's an expense to her. Prof. Ifia?
And please also think it's a liability.
Okay, Prof. Ifia also thinks it's a liability. We are having different views. The more reason why I should check on others. Prof. Senam, what's your view? Is it an expense, a liability, or income?
Expense.
Expense, okay. Prof. Amma?
I think it might be a liability.
Okay, so we have 2-2 out. Okay, who is going to set the score straight? Prof. Echan?
Yes, I think it's a liability.
Okay, so we have 3 for liability, 2 for expense. I haven't called somebody, but I don't know, the name is escaping. Prof. AC?
I think it's also a liability.
Okay, so we have 4 versus 2. So if we are going with the maximum of majority carries the vote, then yes, the majority have it. But yes, retention money is a liability because these are funds that that are payable. You are supposed to pay it to the person, but you are just withholding it. So actually, it's not your resource, right? And it is not an expense because it's not a cost. As in, how do I put it? It's not a cost resulting from you offering a product or a service. Let's note that expenses are the costs we incur because we want to offer a product or deliver a service to customers. Okay. But for this retention money, we are contracting somebody to provide services or provide a product, right? So actually, we are supposed to pay the person. So if we withhold the money or retain the money, it means that we are owing that person that amount of money. So retention money is a liability to this district assembly because it is an obligation they have to settle in the near future when the conditions are met. So it's going to be at the credit side. Prof. Ella, you confused? Or the explanation settles it for you? I want to hear from Prof. Ella, and I think someone else endorsed the expense.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. The next one is basic rate. Basic rate. Basic rate. Now, let me not bore you with plenty talking. When you hear of a rate in terms of relating to public sector or the government, a rate is a form of, it's a tax, okay? But basic rate is applied on the income of people. The first, the tax that is applied on the basic income of workers, that is a basic rate, okay? Please, is that okay? So the rate here refers is a tax that the government is getting, right? So it's an income to the government. So when you see rate in discuss about public sector, we are referring to taxes that are taken by the government, and we have a lot of them. Okay. Okay, so let's put it at the credit side. That is 80,000. Great. We have a few minutes to end the session. Let's see if we can complete the next set of items. The next one is market fees. So this district is taking some market fees. So market fees is like fees that the district is getting from the market. So it's an income to the district, right? 60,000. So if you go and use the market of the district, you have to pay some fees. That's the market fees. Sanitation grants. Sanitation grant. I'm sure you have heard of this before. Sanitation grant, or you have heard of grant before. I want to hear my professors on this one. Sanitation grant. Please briefly explain and tell me whether it's an income, a liability, or is going to be a fund of the government or the district assembly. Grant. Oh, we know grant now, don't we? Or we forgotten? Okay, so you know grant to be monies received, okay, to support a specific purpose, project, or initiative, right? So we could have foreign countries giving the central government grant, or we can have the central government of Ghana giving some district and municipal assemblies grant. That simply means they are giving them money to undertake a specific project or initiative or purpose. So here the purpose has been clearly stated, for sanitation. So this money is supposed to go directly into sanitation, right? So it's like it is an amount of money received by the district to undertake sanitation project. Okay, so to the local district or to this one leg district assembly, is that an income, an expense, an asset, or a liability? Yes, my professors. Well, it's normal because some of these things are new to you, right? But I would want you to express your opinion so that if there are confusions, we clear them. Okay, so to the district assembly, this is a form of a receipt or an income they are receiving from the central government. Okay, and so this income is going to have a credit balance. As a matter of fact, all grants are receipts considered as income, okay, to the government or its agency. So take note of that. Okay, I think we'll pick the last one, which is post office savings. Post office savings. Post office savings. I think this session is up, so let's rejoin the second session and deal with the remaining items. I'm really taking my time so that we'll appreciate the understanding of the concept. Okay, so let's meet in the next session. Please ask any question if you have. Okay, so I'll see you in the next session. Bye for now.